Well, good day, folks. There's some shocking JW news. We don't want to miss it. Global scandals, hall closures. And this is a July 2025 newscast. So we all know what just happened. The governing body made a bit of a diversion, get the people looking at toasting, something that simple. The last time it was beards and pants. Well, the governing body prepares for another convention season. Disturbing stories from across the globe are exposing what's really happening behind the scenes. From courtrooms to town halls, the watchtower is under fire. Let's take a look at the headlines that you won't see on JW.org. And this is all sourced by Watching Watchtower, so thank you very much to them. The first story is from Argentina, and this is a JW pastor sentenced for rape and animal abuse. In Argentina, Ariel Sebastian Contreras was sentenced to 18 years in prison for the repeated rape of a teenage girl and allegedly forcing her to have sex with animals. Though the article refers to him as a Jehovah's Witness pastor, we all know that's not an official JW title. They call them elders. But what matters most is that this case was linked to the JW affiliation, and it shows the kind of abuse that can fester under authoritarian silence. Now, the next article is from Brazil, and it's exploiting an autistic girl for baptism. Now, in Brazil, a mother is sounding the alarm after her autistic daughter was baptized by Jehovah's Witnesses without truly understanding what she was agreeing to. Sounds to me, folks, like this is where Jehovah's Witnesses call on the door. Parents allow their children, in this case an autistic daughter, to study with them. And they think there's nothing wrong with it. And then they find out, holy smokes, my kid just got baptized. Well, this woman says the congregation exploited her daughter's vulnerability and used doctrine to isolate her from family. You know how they do it, eh? They say, well, if your family, they become bad association, if they're not going to learn the truth. And that's what they did. So this raises serious concerns about consent, coercion, and the treatment of disabled individuals within high control religions. Now, there's also another article in Brazil. This is entitled Inside the Sex Committee. And it's a former Jehovah's Witness named Diana, and she's exposing what she calls the Sex Committee, which is a judicial committee of male elders who interrogated her in graphic detail. Now, this is 3 elders, folks, and if you appeal it, there's 6 elders. There's 3 new elders, and then the other 3 elders that originally did the committee, so there's 6 elders. And that's what they tried to put my daughter through, and we walked out. So in this case, Diana, she was a minor when it all began, and yet she was asked whether she masturbated, had orgasms, or had oral sex. And it was supposed to be a spiritual discipline, but Diana says it felt like abuse. And for those of us out there who've been through it, like I was, we all know that this is a sick type of abuse that goes on in every kingdom hall. So I'm glad this is coming out and people are speaking out about it. Now, the next one is from the United States. Now, this is an elder convicted of child abuse, and it's in Pennsylvania. That's where they're doing all of this uncovering. There's a whole pile of people, but this one's recent. It's a former JW elder. He was sentenced for sexual abuse as a child, or he was sentenced for sexually abusing a child, as reported by the Post-Gazette on July 6th, 2025. So that's just recent. And in response, listen to what the Watchtower said. They stated that the child abuse is a sin. They don't call it a crime yet. Someone breaks into their kingdom hall, it's a crime. They're calling the police. But someone rapes a child, and it's all covered up. What do? Here's what they said. They said the Watchtower stated that child abuse is a sin handled by the local congregations and pointed to a legal hotline available since 1989. You see, they call it a sin, and they call this hotline. They don't call the police. They call the branch, and it all gets covered up. So for survivors, it's the same old pattern: delay, minimize, and protect the organization, not the child. You see, if they're protecting the child, it'd be a crime, and they would call the police immediately. But that still does not happen. Their spokesman actually said, yeah, we don't view it as a crime. It's a sin. So that will soon hopefully be rectified, folks. It is in various parts of the world. It's changing. In Australia, it's changing. And they're making it a crime, forcing them to call the police. Now, here's another one. The United States, a Kingdom Hall becomes a town hall. In Millerton, New York, the former Kingdom Hall at 5603 Route 22 has now become the Northeast Town Hall. Local officials confirmed the transition and said digitalization of records is underway. And folks, this is yet another example of a quiet Kingdom Hall liquidation. This is part of a broader pattern that we're seeing, people, across the rural regions all over the world, as congregations shrink and buildings are quietly sold off. And the next one is from India. A JW spokesman receives bomb threats. We've actually covered this one. And this is in Kerala. They received bomb threats via WhatsApp in May. And the case is being investigated as criminal intimidation, and a number was traced to Malaysia. This follows the 2023 bombing of the Kingdom Hall in Kerala that killed several people, raising concern over escalating tensions. And in the United States, there's also a lawsuit over hidden confession. The Guardian reported on a JW administrator who admitted in a court deposition to abusing a child, yet continued to serve in the ministry without consequence. Can you believe that? Without consequence, he continued to serve. And he was an administrator, probably an elder. It calls him an administrator. Now, the case shows Watchtower's systemic failure to report crimes to authorities. This is a key theme in dozens of lawsuits emerging across the U.S. And in Russia, there's 160 JWs in prison for faith. And according to JW.org, as of June 2025, 160 Jehovah's Witnesses remain in Russian prisons. Many were arrested for organizing worship, owning literature, or refusing military service. While we may disagree with Watchtower's doctrine, no one deserves to be in prison for their beliefs. This is persecution, and it's real. So, in closing, on today's news, from Latin America to small town New York, these headlines show us one thing: the house of cards is shaking. The Watchtower can't spin its way out of this one. We thank Watching Watchtower for helping surface these underreported stories. And you'll find every article linked below in the descriptions of this video. And I encourage you to share this video, because the more people know, the harder it is to stay silent. So folks, keep living your life with love and never stop seeking the truth. We'll see you guys in the future. Bye for now.